let me also serve this caveat that all this information that I am giving is not that I am an immigration officer, nor nor am I an immigration expert.
And yes, be an independent more than there are a lot of things that the person is going through. There are a lot of problems that Nipan encounter, but they cannot share it with you. Imagine somebody in Canada, in Europe, in America, sharing their problems with somebody in Ghana. Say, me pem wafri will be all Ghana. What do you mean? Say, Okrana will be serious. What's it? It be a week in I feel when you 5 hours.
5 hours.
Okay, so it's actually much the war. One way and come do soon di and to what it will feel. Cry their brain wa hase. Chaliani obre. Jennifer day. If I come. No question. And no a bassa nipan shanu when we are. Na wako no kwa kudinka say ye ntu kwan aye ebra ye bre papa aha ba ye kan sa na ya na bia manfo adwen yo mo say na de na ye mpese obi beba no ente sa kra sabi abrochi enya obi adia e be ya nka obi a mfa nanimra mehunu the kind of systems are in place but sometimes me dwen say okay, why is it that most of these politicians are or more edi they have come and experienced science systems in bi systems no so adwuma kama pa adenti no muntimi implement those systems no de akobani.
Yes, beautiful people, it is another exciting, vibrating and important conversation again with my man Ogee from Canada. It was an amazing one in the first episode we had, and he has agreed to once again appear on this podcast. He has got some good information to share, and some information with me sure say it goes beyond the normal life, because now we know everything about him, but there are so many things going out there which I think say we need to know. Ogee, you are welcome. I mean, it's good to have you back.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure meeting you once again, and thanks also to the viewers for making it possible for us again, because their continuous support and their continuous patronage of the show has led to yet another very important episode. So thank you very much once again.
Yes, thank you. That reminds me, I had a lot of people who shared the opinion of having you back, because at the point where you were trying to share some bit of information about traveling, from Ghana or any part of the world to wherever some people think of, migrating to, they felt like there were some valuable informations which we skipped. So today's conversation largely is going to uncover most of these things. I mean, hey, all of us need it. Those of us in the diaspora, those of us back home, everybody needs it. And that is why I feel like, let me get back to you and then see what happens. Now, before we go into the details, from the previous conversations, I gathered myself that you were on top of whatever you were doing. You wouldn't say you were at the peak or apex of your life or your career in terms of finances, but I mean, you were doing well. You were a teacher back home, emceeing programs here and there, doing a lot of jobs, which for you was quite okay. So what really triggered the decision to, pick your bag and then say, hey, I've had enough of this and I need to go?
All right, so thank you once again. So actually, as you earlier pointed out, I was doing quite well back in Ghana, and I just didn't even imagine myself until 2023 thereabout, where I decided that, hey, I need to also experience some other cultures. I need to also experience what goes on in other places, other countries. So I started exploring, and in fact, my exploration had to do with either to relocate to the UK or to relocate to Canada. So I had a colleague back in Canada, and he clearly pointed out to me that he entered through the study permit route, that is through the student visa route, and he decided to guide me through all the processes that was involved. And I must say that I am very grateful to him. for such guidance, and that is Ernest. He's such a very good friend of mine, and it's a great opportunity to have associated myself with him and throughout this time. So after I had the conversation with him, he just decided to give me some links to do the application, and I was able to apply successfully myself. Where I thought I had a difficulty, I called him, and he also guided me. Oh, okay, do it A, B, or C.
Okay, brilliant. Let me find out this from you. You were lucky. Yes, shout out to your friend Ernest, really top guy. I've had an engagement with him, and I must admit, he's one of the top guys.
Yeah.
Now, you were lucky. You had somebody to guide you through. Most often than not, there are these stories of somebody applying for somebody here and there. Some people taking over emails of applicants. It comes in and it is, I mean, I don't know how to describe the situation. In your case, you escaped that. And I'm sure you also had a chance to learn how the process works. Now, for somebody who is watching this, probably this is his take. How is the process? Even though you've taken me through gathering this, that, is it like ABC, provide this, you provide it, and then you move on to the next stage? Or is something that needs special skill, like we are made to believe that, hey, that needs special skill, and if you don't get an experienced person, you get what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Yes.
It is not anything that is difficult to apply to come to Canada. For example, if you are applying for the study permit route, you just go to the IRCC, that is Immigration and Refugee Canada. You just go to their portal, their website, and you just create an account. Now, after creating the account successfully, you choose the route that you would want to apply. For example, if you are applying for a study permit, the processes are there. You just select study permit, and then you go to the next one. So all the subsequent information will be, some of them or most of them are yes or no. Have you traveled to Canada before? You select no or yes. And let me also serve this caveat that all this information that I am giving is not that I am an immigration officer, nor am I an immigration expert. No, it is out of my personal experience, and also what I have read from the Canada portal and other encounters that I've also had with some other people who have successfully relocated to Canada. So it is not anything that you will have to require a particular skill. Once you are able to read, and then once you are able to write, predominantly once you're able to read, you should be able to do the application. So sometimes I do not understand why people will contract others to some extent pay huge sums of money, contract agents and pay huge sums of money to these agents to do the application for them. It is something that any individual who can read, once you aspire to come and study in Canada, it means that you have a skill. You've been to school before. You are able to read. You are able to write. You are able to comprehend simple information. So it is not anything that you will have to require any skill.
Okay, brilliant. You've gone through it. Your visa has been approved. You've moved to Canada. Now, the reality in Canada. Let's see how it is. I mean, back home, everything you know about Canada is what you read on the internet, and probably what people you have close associations with will tell you this, that. Now you find yourself in Canada. What is the reality before we come into, the other stuff that has to do with people's immigration and whatever, which you've indicated we're going to go into it into detail. Now, the reality after landing in Canada.
Okay, so the reality, for example, being a student here in Canada, it is not an easy thing, because when you are outside the country, or especially when you are in Africa and you hear that people have relocated to Canada, US, Europe, UK, and other countries, we thought that, once you relocate to some of these countries, the following week or two, you are just a successful man. And I must say that it isn't easy, especially when you are a student. If you are a student and you have to work for 24 hours per week, it is something that is very appalling, and most students are facing so much difficulties here in Canada.
Okay, so in Canada, students have, the chance to work 24 hours within a week, right?
Exactly. As a
Okay, so
student,
yeah, I'm asking that because here in the UK, students have got only 20 hours in a week to work.
yeah. Let me be quick to add that it was until November last year that they started enrolling the 24-hour rule, that students can work 24 hours only. And in fact, before then, students were working 20 hours. So students were
Okay.
working 20 hours, and they increased it from 20 hours to 24 hours. So for example, if you are a student and you work in a company, or you work at a place where you have to work for 12 hours a day, it means that you'll have to, within the whole 1 week, you'll have to work for two days. You get it?
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
work for 8 hours a day, it means that within the whole 1 week, you will have to work for 3 days. And
Yes.
the rest, you'll be using it for your academic activities. So the purpose of the 24-hour rule, in the wisdom of the Canadian government, is to, at least give you some sort of support
Yeah.
in terms of your living expenses, in terms of taking care of some basic expenses, and also to give you some space, because you are actually here not because of work, but you are actually here because you are here to study, and it is just something like a bonus to you. As part of your studies, you should be able to work for 24 hours. But let me add that if, for example, you applied through the master's route as a master's student in Canada, if you are pursuing uh, a program that is 16 months or more as a master's student, you are entitled to also apply for your spouse. And if I say your spouse, if, for example, you are a woman, it's your husband. And if you
Yeah.
are a man, it's your wife. So you're entitled to apply for your spouse, and your spouse will not be given a study permit because your spouse is not coming here to study. And your spouse will be issued a work permit, that is an open work permit. Now, Canada has two work permits. We have the open work permit and then the closed work permit. The open work permit allows you to work with any company once you enter Canada. It allows you to work with any company. And then the closed work permit is, for example, if you applied to a company here, let's say you
Yeah.
apply to a care company here or a hospital here, and the hospital sponsored you from, let's say, Ghana to Canada. It means that you are some sort of, bound to the hospital, and you are not allowed to work for any other company with the exception of the company that you. So that is the closed work permit. So you have the ability to apply for your spouse to join you, and I think in the wisdom of the government as well, the spouse presence will be that they will be here to support you while you also go through your academic activities.
Okay. Now, still on the reality in Canada, I just don't want to go into the school fees you pay per semester or wherever. I know you pay it for a semester. Now, say ufifie ba na unya admission no, na school fees no, your boss what. Even though you can do the conversion on the internet to know the actual value in the home currency, but ahoɔden ne nneɛma a wobɛ put in place before getting the money no, you have no idea. Gye dɛ wakɔduru mu ansa. Nti, what I want to ask you is this. Wobɛduru mu no, na wohwɛ school fees a na wobɛtua semester after semester against 24 hours a week, proportionally, now be describing the saying.
Easy. It is not anything that you can say is easy, because you'll be paying your bills. Bills meka or rent, wo bus obefro for the month obetua and sana was etua so fee a wo mu no obetua Wi-Fi, that is internet fee, and sana wo ankasa your personal phone bills and so osan so betua nti all these bills ekeka and coupled with the 24 hours that you have to work within the week, and at the end of the month you are not able to take care of most of these expenses coupled with your fees. If you are coming in as an international student, at least you should be able to make a significant payment of your fees at home before coming to Canada, because if you realize that you will have to work for 24 hours and then later you will be also required to be making some other payments concerning bills and other things. The reality is that it is not easy.
On the straightforward question, is it feasible? Are you real? Say, without school being wow. So school fees are like you said, you are paying 9,000.
9,600 a year.
A year. On the assumption that you are doing this alone with 24 hours. And cannot crunch will be antenna. A possible say, ubitimi at the alcohol every year.
No, there is no possibility that as a student you can work for 24 hours and then be paying that fees. No, unless you have a support from home, or unless you have a support from your spouse, whom you have the opportunity to bring here with you in Canada after you have relocated, or even before you come to Canada. So the Canada government, the immigration gives you the opportunity to bring your wife or your husband to come and support you, so that you can also concentrate on your academic activities. So while your husband or wife is supporting you in your education, your husband or wife will be given a work permit, and that work permit will permit her to work and then support you with other activities as well. So with your wife here, yes, it is feasible, but with you alone here, it is not possible that you can complete paying this fees unless there is a support from home.
Okay, so has there been any instance where some students have commenced, their journey towards their studies, and then halfway into the year or into their study, they say no, the reality is different from what the imagination is, and they call it a quit after paying huge sums of money to the school as school fees. Maybe so, have you come across and say
so so Nansen bese last week or last 2 weeks in Canada aban no de school for almost free because international students almost free amount also nyina abase omo ba be school na omo ba ye omo kọ na omo a omo nkọ nti se na wo hwe chart no se de na city na Ghana na ye toso miensa omo ba omo nkọ pa omo nkọ school no chart na we na Ghana toso miensa na kire se Ghana international students are no more within the year 2024. Now international students are almost 5,800, 5,700 and something. Omo no munko school no non-compliant rate no 31.1%. There's a nipa no munko school no ebru 2,000.
Okay.
Nipa no munko school no ewo Ghana for munko school no 2,000. India for even India for population bebrebe no omo non-compliance rate no na it is around there say 8%. Nigeria population bebrebe no omo non-compliance rate no around there say 10%. But Ghana for na nkasa no non-compliance rate no was around 31%. It means that out of the 100% no emu 31% no school no monko e kire o pefe say oba na se unni support bia ofie na se wo yere ana wukunu ana say wo girlfriend ana wo boyfriend enka ho a obeboa ama otime asua de no eyie na wotua office na gise wujai
I see. Into the assertion of, oh, bra, because I thought I didn't come. Canana ni ufi. Thought that, oh, bra, ubi druma. Kwaya befa so a wobe ni omade. Ya samfufo. Sound komodie no ubi dru. Epo ne jano. Sele ubi di sound komona. Oh, the from which side now ubi sound komodie no? And what will be your take on it?
Yeah, the mechanic say, once we are so biane the oppressor didn't abrabo kukudu. Everybody knows where to land with their lives. Inti se old back pine now say with the school neighbor. No be catch us oba ubedru mu a yeah on no more kire o kwan ho do bebrebe no kwa me catch on say hwe hu say wanim no enehia say wanim ne hia kire say o ko wanim no the future is very important. It say wa anya wadwen say oboko school no na we wadwen say o me de ana say dia school no meko but adwuma dodo no say say 24 hours na 24 hours o me de me ya bro ni ade reality ni say ebi ya bro but one here edu time a we school na wo kwaje postgraduate work permit no postgraduate work permit no ombema 3 years na 3 years no ina de bema wa ma wo de atena kumu ha mfie miensa aka o permit na edi kan de ma wo no ho na wo de atena so okodu ho a aha no system no nti se Africa na omo enhunu ebia obi adwuma wa ha ye nhunu we sori kura but the system no is said that you betcha because they are able to read from one kasa or the kind of transactions or the kind of payment cost the tax out ya ne you fit be sin SIN I had to say Kagana and Quebec say was Senate number the SIN number social insurance number so social insurance number they are able to tell say we are human boy this number of hours I was away and based on that no I just wo o man mbra no so omu gina so timi deny o study permit just recently omo send students ni bi letters say omo ye ebro said there was omo ye no so it kire say they are able to track obia wo system adwuma wo ye number of hours a wo ye ene the uye nyina they are able to track it is a way school ni na say so media da bi media me ya bro ene ade a obi nso ho nso a wona emu a no hwe na so ntumi a na nkofo tunufo oh masa jai koni kodi aduro no for emphasis no broni beka say asylum na de tie ne say aduro na wo kwa akodi no nso aso bebre nso ewo
Neba ansana obeko adrodie. Yes, me are very interested. Oka say we school na yama onfie miensa and that will send number no allow authorities to track you to know whatever is happening. The crew and any friend or NI, your national insurance number NI. Enti sa 3 years now was in school on Sabekano. Something that is automatic. And it has to do with hours do I'll be here, my own cap once and say almost be letters. There were consequences. Now so what consequences are anything and sana Masian Busawa the first one person know about. Sadly.
There were consequences. The consequences in say oba krumi ha no ya ma omra se obedi so o apply for study permit no so no o fill o form ni nyina no emra krata wo sensan ye ne ade nyina wa sign say oba obedi oman ne mra no so pepepe which laws o study permit you know so ye de ma wa obedu port of entry na say ye ma o study permit na ankasa visa na ye de be ma no enye permit a ye de be ma wa mo atena krumi a visa no ye eno no ye me fan say document a ebetimi amode atu kwan abedu Canada ha name wo abedu Canada ha wie before you enter the Canadian system no this say ye print o permit ne mam ewo ayo airport wa abedu me fan say port of entry no this ye print the mam eno wo kan so a won hyehyɛ ni nyinaa wɔ so emre bia wɔ so di so bia no o ma seti ni nyinaa wɔ so enti sɛ oba ne sɛ oyɛ bro ne track oni hu sɛ wayɛ abro a the consequences ne sɛ waba be bu mbra no so and on that basis no ombedi now sa postgraduate work permit no mfa ma that means say ye be ma opportunity say bra ukrum come back to ukrum.
Okay, is it straightforward? Say one year, one kwam also, you know, you've stayed within what is required of you. The postgraduate, is it something that once you have your confirmations from your university that you've completed? Because here in the UK, who we are, it's a matter of the uni communicating to, we call them the Home Office. Once they communicate, the uni will send you a link and tell you, hey, congratulations, you are eligible to apply for a postgraduate visa if you want to, because some may want to return to their home country. However, in the case of a student in Canada, yeah, will be the master's program or wherever will stay within this. Is it straightforward? Say, you buy an hour apply Canada, the United States.
Yeah, Canada, the answer, I think there is the same process. So we are now what the letter of completion upon say well maybe school. No? It is a letter of completion, no? And now what they call the immigration portal. No? Now what apply say school maybe plus other a year almost other become say no my and say Canada who use school no as an international student. Just what's actually English proficiency test. English proficiency test IELT. Canadians or more CELPIP, that is Canadian English Language Proficiency, I can say test, or more BBT say PT. And just a watch the English proficiency test. No? Now the account application, no, and sign the postgraduate permit amount. So who use school numpo. Now one to the English proficiency test now. No question I'm gonna say you don't meet the requirement, and on that basis, no, just a who use school now actually proficiency testing.
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, very tough.
Yes, it's tough. It's you going through. It's at what period? Grace period bear now to get it done, because we see there will be new school. Now, eventually, we will also run out. Yeah. What is the time allowed for you writing this English proficiency test?
And the test and it take you 2 years before it expires. And from this time, fancy be December this year, now this time when your date is over, you bet much at the free ho. Said the bear was made the ever free ho. At any point in time, be ubet me actually. Now, so your visa is running out. Now, when I want to mean to the way you know, quickly I also apply for extension of visa. Into Uber apply to immigration. They say, be a visa, be a June, and I say be a July, and our visa be a May. Now, me sha, me course no crime, me share them ye, and maybe I will need some time, some period. Now I into or maybe extended the amount. Sometimes we need me extended be 6 months at the can at the amount say, if depending on the but. Mostly say so they are or more extended over another month.
Okay. For the emphasis of this conversation we're having, the speaker, who is Ogee, has made it clear, say he's not speaking in the capacity as an immigration officer.
Yeah.
But he's doing this based on the knowledge and experience he has gathered as an international student in Canada. Let's make that correction. Now, on the issue of a Drudy, Mr. Wanovo, and no bem as a result to say, and you are funny be a bar, or maybe who dear womb, not Omunis school no Umintimen crow, and not on base or no dear Drew. It means I'm the same.
Okay. It's in view of Chemono, now amount for be back Canada, and I say Omutu back Canada ha. The next year, say be now no more visit neighbor. Okay. Another student visa ever. Do no student visa for neighbor. But not visit for no edoso pa. It is a deeper no or bar or the visit no so apply can pa no more share in fear to do our passport no. Into be our passport no akabi abe 6 years 7 years 9 years and our passport ne be expire a omutumi emma 9 years of visit visa no eche say Canada ban no emma wo kwan say obetumi wo na apply say oba visit e bia wo maame ana wo busuafo bi na wo ha na wo ba besra wo ana say ba wo ba no bonya conference bi e wa ha na conference na wo ba no mama letters any documents eche say wo ba conference no baby a wo beda any ade nyina ho documents nyina wo de aka wo application ho na wa ye na ade aba ubohu se bia nipa ne ba bedu ha na no enye saa adwen no ene wo de ba se wo ba conference enye saa adwen ne se bia wo ba ne maame ho ana se oba akwanhwere mekansa akwansra e wo krum ha de mu adwen ne se oba no oba betenem na oba be bo adwuma enso se Canada ema wo visit visa no kwasem ni visit visa ema wo kwan se wo de be ye adwuma e wo Canada
Okay.
ekwan bie ni ho a wo benya visit visa wo bedu a betima be ye adwuma
Say ebeboa unkomo awudi kra me sure say sanso net here across amadi brain so
yeah
because you visit mawa obi a wo contract here untimi nkoye adwuma.
yes eti Canada visa no visit visa no kanene ye de ma wa 6 months untumi ntina oman mu more than 6 months ensa untumi ntina more than 6 months se wutenam 6 months 1 day kura na eche se wo bu oman ne mra so
Yeah.
se oman ne chewa onfa ho nche wo bu ne mra no so obi deport ama waba enti amanfo bebrebe no omo ba na omaye omadwen se odu airport ho a yesi die duro eno na broni be kasa asylum enti odu airport ho a na waka kire wo mo se dodo na titio ne Ghana fo na no omo ba oso mi ankasa na mikuru mu ho no ye tata me na abrabo no me kan se amanfo epemekumi nipa nyame a omo mfa me ho nkyeme isan se dodo na omo yi omo de ba pa ye tumutumu ayi no be ma ne be ma eda oba ne oba eda no dodo no a no mo de ba nti obedu airport ho na wakasa ade akire immigration officers no se wakasa akire immigration officers na officer ne de ono na adwuma ne se obeti wasem na o waka akire ne se because of say ye tata wunti no ompese untumi nko o man mu bio nti opese oba bedi aduro e wo krumi ha na oba ebetena krumi ha kakra until such a time awa hu se afede ukrum ho ye a obetumi akọ nti obema o form na wa fail o fail a no kwasem ni ye je o passport na o di free ukrum na o de bae na ye de visa na bom ye beje ni ye twa photocopy di amount ye je o passport nso e kire se untumi ntu kwan emma ukrum bio esan se o si ukrum ayehu ye pewokun ye tata ye nyawa ye bikun eni ntu untumi ntra ho enti se ye de passport ne ma wa na wo e kire se wo betima se tu kwan aba na wo tu kwan aba nso e bekun ti o ne de o mo hwe se issues related to human rights de o mo mfa ni agro enti na o mama wo saa akwan no na o mo de wakọ eye aduro die no fie enti ye do be kwa aduro die efie ho enti mpem bebre bi a hotel ana se guest house ana se apartment bi o magye e de amasa ankofo ni nyina na wakọ akọtena wote ho no aban ne be ma wo aduane adi de bia bosome so a na o ma wo bibi kakra e de ato botom kane no meti se na omo se base around no mama be $600 a month.
Okay.
And nipa na do so busu ama sese no pe nkoma amadi no mama be $350.
Okay, o mate so.
O mate so. Kane no so no mo che se nipa na eda edan mu no. Na bia mfa se nipa be mienu e na eda dan mu ba akomu a. Sese nipa na boro so ama nipa na ya akoye miensa ne nan e wo dan ba akom. Enti wo ba bedu awie no. Unwie afina na okwa akopɛ ebia immigration lawyer bi na waboa ekwan be na afei ma be di aduro no mefa so a menya nkrata ka hu se o forms a wa fail u bibia ya document e wa ban mu enti ya document sa na me nyina wa ban mu no kire se enya ade a u betimi adwane enti officer na be boa o no wa ya boa wa na ya work permit amount work permit ne de be ma nanso ka hu se wasɛm a wo de koye no ye be frɛ o court Inti ye frɛ wo court sɛ Pascal wo na obedi aduro wo ba ye wo say wo memu ye tata wo ukroma ye hu ye nyanwa ye bekun inti waba bedi aduro ewo ye memu ha Canada ha inti sɛ waba bedi aduro ewo ye memu ha Canada ha bra ne fa wadanse efa bra inti wokɔ na wohunu wasɛm ka ne to judge na obetena asɛm no so no eto na koma so a obegrante ama wo na kyɛ sɛ ya ma sa status no sɛ okay afedie ubetima tena ha aye bibia wo pebia wo mara kwan so sɛ wanhunu wasɛm ka yie ɛde a ɛne ɛhɔ no ano na yɛde wo yɛde ɛba ofie ana wokurum na na mpɛn bebree no asɛm no ɛkyɛ ansa na yɛafrɛ nti obi wɔ ha ɔbaa ekura no bia be 2 years ni yɛmfrɛ na asɛm no yɛnyam frɛ
But to grad work permit or yeah, Juma up and down.
Well, yes, ukuta na work permit or yeah, Juma or koba any other. Yɛnyam frɛ na asɛm no nti ɛne na ɔyɛ na adwuma nkakrakra ebi wɔ nso ɔbɛfa lawyer no ne bɛkɔ na nso lawyer for the ɔbɛkɔ akɔtwe daawre kakrakra obi ɔbɛtuma ɛde nkrata akɔ sɛ ne nipa no ana ne client no wɔyare ne ho mfa no sɛ ni ade na yasan so atu asɛm na hyɛda nti bebree tututu ɔmasɛm ne hyɛda na kyɛ sɛ auditing ɛno nso nkyɛ sɛ ho atɔ ɛna ho nkyɛ sɛ wasɛm no yɛtwam kɔpem sɛ yɛbɛdi wasɛm na wie na aban na yɛ ahu sɛ okay afi de wudi bem ana wudi fo nanso this time no de akɔbanie na me adoma Canada fo beto aba October year we animu ya na aba no mbeto no sɛ wahwɛ the presidents asi or other countries mu a
Yeah,
after COVID no COVID ba wie no efiri oba no bia no behu sɛ ɔman bia to aba aba na wɔte so no dodo no a ya etu ɔmo firi so
yeah, no correct.
aha no ade ba ko position no de bɔ incumbent na chipa ne sɛ ɔmo sɛ ɔmama ifo na mamfrafo na begu ɔman mu ha dodo ama ɔmo nya adwuma nyɛ ama ɛdan sɛm ho ayɛ den ama hospital pressure beto ɔmo social amenities so itikane ne sɛ bi obi booki appointment ɛkɔ hospital na sɛ bi a memfa ne sɛ ɔkyena obenya data because nipa na dɔɔso no bi ebetima take nipa ne bi a bɛ week ansa na wanya date aha nso sɛ wo yare a ɛnte sɛ Ghana obi etie ne yakra na se ne yakra na wasɔre no
Hospital
no kɔ hospital aha de sɛ wo yare a sɛ okɔ hospital wa bɛka kyerɛ sɛ kɔ ne kɔ booki appointment gye sɛ emergency situation emergency program so no gye sɛ wo fa phone na wo frɛ ambulance na ambulance abɛfa wo na ɛde wo kɔ sɛ nyɛ sɛ bi ambulance abɛfa wo na ɛde wakɔ na wo de wo pɛ sɛ mekɔ hospital hɔ a na nyɛ emergency a ɔmo nhwɛ yɛbɛka sɛ kɔ booki appointment eni saa nneɛma no nyinaa no ama temamufo no hu sɛ deɛ yɛabɛgu kurom ha bebrebe no anhwɛ yɛbɛduru mmerɛ bi no yɛbɛgye ɔmo man no abɔ so and no deɛ ɛfa bi no me ne ɔmo yɛ adwene sanse yɛkora yɛwɔ Ghana no sɛ ɛhu sɛ bi a Fulanifoɔ anaasɛ ifo bi aba yɛmamu na ɔmo yɛ a yɛkasa
China for
ebi mu sɛ obi mu fa ɔmo yere no mo ne ade afi ɔmo sɛ because yɛ ne abɛgu ha no ama crime rate no ɛkɔ soro
awudie no
ɔmo points ni bi no sɛ ama crime rate no ɛkɔ soro ɛwɔ Canada ha nti ama tememufo no nso no ɛyɛ ne opposition na yɛ adwene nti sɛ wo follow ɔmo proceedings ɛwɔ yɛka ne sɛ YouTube ne ɔmo national television no so a wohu sɛ tememufo no deɛ ɔmo ayɛ very poised sɛ ɔmo bɛgu ha titi ɔmo ni nkrataa na ɔmo nkrataa ɔmo nso ɔmo nkrataa expire saa nkɔfo no nyina ɔmo nkɔ opposition leader no Pierre wayɛ n'adwene sɛ ɔno ɔba ɔno kwade wɔse titiriw ɔmo ba yɛ sɛ ode study permit ɛna ɛba
na ɔba sɛ ɔbɛkɔ school na ɔba yɛ no school no wankɔ on that basis alone sɛ wankɔ school na ɔno deɛ ɔba you will be the first person a ɔbɛmo asa akɔ back to school because ɔba sɛ ɔba abusua adeɛ na wa ma abusua ɛna ɔba yɛ no wafa kwan foforɔ so ɛna ade te ɔman on that basis alone nti ɔbɛkɔ fie nti ɛba saa no ama incumbent no so de some stringent measures egu akwan mu sɛ de bɛyɛ a ɛbɛma hold you on to power
ɛhu sɛ yes ɛhu sɛ afei deɛ ɔmo yɛ biribi ebi ne sɛ uwia gye sɛ wotwerɛ English proficiency test ansa na yɛde postgraduate work permit ayɛ ɛde ama wo ebi ne sɛ wawie your mouth visit visa can nan ka make say be ma mfie bebre no he say visit visa no yetime ma obi about 3 months e bi okra ye hwe conference now ba na e bi 2 weeks 1 week a o betima ma be say 1 month na che say 1 month be na wo dey ba nti omo introduce so many measures na omo sa ti the number of international students are eba no so by 35%.
Okay, that's massive.
You know, some man for be put in application for study permit visa na no kwasem ne say a month say nipa 10 and a day application be tum these days, you know, starting from say late 2024 or eba and a day banning na say mid 2024 or day ban refusal rate no akosoro refusal rate na akosoro pa enti say obi ekase o the study permit eba sisi na say won krata asem o bank statement any or other document enye intact pa na say o bank statement ni titiri ano nya den pa na won say ntua o fees no significant amount e be about 60% 50% of fees na de be ma ono a oba apply but officers ne be di now and second no after covid ni de na omo penkofo omo ma ba be ye adwuma e wa ha because omo nkofo no bebre ewuwi e ma bebre nso adwuma no omo ama ma ye bi because of covid na anti na omo hia nkofo now yaba system ni mu ama adults ye wa manfo bebre e wa ha even omo ye students 24 hours no kra no onya adwuma ni bi na wa ye minimum bi oba ye 6 months ni onya adwuma enye but we students ontua ni fees school fees no so when demand to the following semester no untimi register the following semester no it is when demand register the following semester now it tells you say automatically you have defaulted your studentship unya student bill because any application via obey or immigration as a student no they request an enrollment verification it say bia me wa ha na me say me apply e de ama me yire ana obi so apply ama na yire ana ne ba ama na be ka no ho a obeje enrollment verification e say school no ko for that particular semester no and as a particular semester na say enrollment verification say wontua o fees school no airport and emie ma e ma won apply for say enrollment verification no into automatically na say unye student bi na say you are out of being a student it is ana etiewa.
Ogee, let me ask you this. This is quite technical before we come back to situations where students have not been able to cope with the financial struggles and everything. And PMP, you know, a good, you know, and I decided to call back. You call a cat in someone, a bema, yenya, yasetlan, and kratas, lawyers in them. Nti ya camera so court anya no kra ne yeka emra ne yeka nanso so no ma menye wadwen kire this is very sensitive obi kase campaigner ya na the stage makali onso akembi and they are sure say everywhere meaning Ghanaian ya na so bi o fe bi ba ope ne mane yie no empese e be cancer money afo man ho. And that as a result, se obi ka se yane a yam pese yade yan sabunkum betre efie ana se this abrofu ya isu omumu yen yane a ye ka se omumu yen na o de simply put omumu yen no se obi ka se okay yane ya ne ton ye homa wo mu kire se ne tu kwan ku omumu ma and someone ye ka kire wo mu edi nya ya setena no yɛsɛe yɛ ho mmɔ amu wɔ mu hunu sɛ sabi enipa fa ahodie kura yɛn fa nyɛ adwuma apart from wo mu wɔn se wɔn ne ɔbaa ne baa na bɛrima ne nyɛ sure sɛ no nko a na yɛ excuse ankorɔfoɔ de kɔ aduro die fie hɔ foforɔ keka ho wei yɛ just minor sɛ mi pushi wa wo bɛkyerɛ wadwen sɛ
no kra ana sometimes ya kyerɛ nsɛm mu bebree dodo enti sɛ wonni broni hia ɔmo no di nkɔma sometimes otimi bisa wo sɛ na oh yeah den oh yeah den wa ha so o poano atoto oh yeah den wa ha so baby I me school. Oh okay, that's fine. Which program ben oh yeah. So be a educational leadership. Oh okay, educational leadership. So you want to be a teacher? So yeah, be a back in my country krano. I was a teacher and me twaso ha na my they are very quick no busa say na uwie school na obepese obestay na say obekọ back to umem nti wo ya sa na wo so obi wa no start chechem da bi me dem wi a nyaade a me kọ back o hwe ene ho no ahokyere wo ho no ene sei du na nipa na start no wo chechechechere nsem num no wo chechechechere nsem ene nipa no so wo ni di nkomo no ka hu se unim bia wo free unim nipa a wo ye unim connections a wo unim ono so the next person no be kwa ko di nkomo nti wo cheche wo nsem mu di a kire ne saa no hu se ene nkofo obi kura ti bi kire mu to the sense o me ko fa me yira ba me wo ma e bia 4 omu nyina me kofo mu nyina de o maba nya de pa se me mo matena ho because e memu on de anwokere wo ho ohia buruburu bi wo kura aduane kura ubedie kura no 3 square meals a day no 1 day kura de no kura de ma amanfo ka san sem no pa achichiri because sometimes ye ne abrofo no bi hia obutimi busa se yese mo ho no ahokere e wo ho pa on na makasa o ahokere de wo ba bia depend but o ma bia mu no ye wo some part bia ahokere e wo ho ene wo some part bia but ni nyina na se wo bobo ho modern na waye adwuma enti ensesa wo chire wansem bibribi sa so technically so busa me a se ase abrofo no omumuye na ye ne ana ye mo omumuye because ase ye mo fa ye mfododo apart from say ye ne ye de ye ho aba na ye ne ye ba betena omumemu ni abaye adwuma de aboa omo ye beko school ene ade ne ho kroma no ye ne ankasa nso no ye kan ensem bibiri kire omo nti se o kan ensem ne bibiri kire na ma ne hu se o kra se o man a wo firi mu kra no unye obi akra no a anase bibia bibi papa bia ni ho a na chese wana wa ma ho kwan ama bronu no ebu kwasi asa.
Okay, back to school, abrabo, any emunioma. Now, quick one on this, and then we move on to something else. I spoke to a guy in Canada. Now, Merune Kasano, he shared a lot with me, which I would love him to do it by himself. Then, the few things I gathered say, platform be also. Yewo a man in Nema, a man tianem by you are my best school near dear. Na Obi Betro to platform, so say, or call Canada 6 months in we need to man na the school fees all banos kakaka into we team tria school fees ni be but say no she them why depressed what push and into platform na so no Betro so say do you obi will be as we be make more baby and one country cleaning everything why ready but obi an kasa platform so but we be fair no say oh no na dia na wa betro at no o cancel no nkwa na onam ana enti it's something that is common men kanasa well obi a onam say na be ne de say ye ka de wo mu obi kanasa mama no but obi a woni mu no o ba kazo na mu ha mani dodo o de wo mu nti o be kanasa
Yeah, and bebre aba omunya adwuma ne bi nya obi o kran so adwuma no wonya bi but shift na de be mari bi a 24 hours no e bi a week ni nyina wonya me ne obi hia a adwuma mu last 3 days na me ni hia no e no say this week pa the first week adwuma na ekọ na 5 hours adwuma it means that the whole week ni nyina no afi na wonya 5 hours
5 hours
na me ya adoma anwumire wo bekọ so okọ anwumire ka ho a na okọ ye another 5 hours it means that the whole week ni na 10 hours na why utumu say enye easy kra. Now the same thing applies to almost all my ba abusumi bebre ni onya adwuma medin kan dada say enipa ne buso e wa ha kan ne de 2022 2021 22 23 no mu hia ni papa nti na adwuma no ko mu nya nkofo mo mu nya adwuma no kwasem no mu nya nkofo mo mu nya adwuma bare na de nipa na ba buso a mo de study permit aba school for obi an so ba sɛ na bedi nkan kan yɛ no bon sɛ ebi asɛ me na maba ɛwɔ sɛ me yɛ quick because mmara no ma me kwan sɛ metimi de me ho kani aba na waba boa me ntimi nso me ba ma fa me yira bɛka me ho obi nso de ne kunu aba saa na obi nso abɛyɛ de abɛka no ho nti once a yɛ nyinaa nipa na eba no kan hu sɛ enwuma no na ɛbɛyɛ scarce because enwuma no yɛ kakra bi ɛna nipa na yɛ bebrebe nti sisi kura ɔmo kuta study permit no ya na bebree wokɔpɛ adwuma ɔmo mfiu because na adwene yɛ sɛ okura school ni wo ba after all send na betima yɛ 24 hours pɛ ɛna wo betimi ayɛ ɛna Canada ha no unlike probably UK sɛ woyɛ master student wɔ ha na woyɛ 24 hours a master student o ma kwan a yɛ ma kwan a just be say 1 month break pɛ unlike ɔmo yɛ ɔmo de first ɔmo afɛ na ɔmo yɛ first degree undergraduate for no undergraduate ni ma kwan a saa 4 months na ɛwɔ mu no obetimi ayɛ adwuma number of hours bia o pɛ bia for saa 4 months no so 100 hours a week a day kura na open obetimi ayɛ so to speak obetimi but wa we master student no sɛ wo ma kwan saa 1 month na mmara ne ma wo kwan sɛ obɛyɛ more than 24 hours no ti master student de 24 hours ne de o ya kopim so obewie school de bia sɛ wa ma kwan yo so wo school mu but omo yɛ undergraduate for no omo na omo yɛ 4 months but undergraduate for no so no sɛ ɔkasa ɔkɔfa ne ho kani de naba ne ho kani ne yɛ ma no work permit ɔno so ɔmo so disadvantage no sɛ ɔde obɛyɛ undergraduate a afei na obɛyɛ first degree a yɛ ho kani ne work permit ɔmo bɛma ho kani no visit visa saa visit visa no so yɛ de ma na ontumi ma mɛyɛ adwuma deɛ ma ontumi ma mɛyɛ adwuma no sɛ okuta visit visa ɛwɔ ɔman bi mu a okɔ Canada for example okɔ na so okɔ akɔ register for sin that is social insurance number na yɛ bɛgye o permit a ɔde ti krumi a afei yɛ permit na ɔde ti krumi a as a visitor obeka say you don't qualify to get a social insurance number. Adwuma bia nso akɔpɛ Canada ha bia nso no ye fa wa the first thing e be require say for social insurance number bra because aban tax ni hia no bebre kura chen adwuma na wo kɔ akɔyɛ nti sa social insurance number no ɛna u kuta o permit a valid work permit a ebetima mo ayɛ nti in this case no study permit ɛna work permit pɛ ɛna obetimi di akɔgye social insurance number no o visit visa wontumi mfanye nti so obi ba kromi ha ne se onyanya adwuma na oyɛ school ni a depression enye easy ebechi nipa no because onyanya adwuma no ehfa na wɔkɔ sika dia bekutua no school fees ebi a meka sɛ kura no ɔsa wɔ yere ɛwɔ ma ɛwɔ fie na yere ne ma ɛne abusua adwen yɛ ɔmo sɛ o ɔmo nuan ɔtu kwan ɔkɔyɛ bɛsɛ 6 months ni 1 year ni ɔmo ntene nka ne tiri mu ɔden ɛna ɔno no ɔba yɛ dadaada yenya once the crime free no ho ensem bebre what the meche fie pressure ne ade edipa no so wo ha no enya ne fault enya wono a ɛna akonto mu nsem se de kofi kenata kan ne se nya nyina na ye ka ɔkasa wo tie kyiri mu akyere wo a wan hwe anka mbesu agege entoboa ɛwɔ fie kura de abrɛ no ha se kyale ne ye wo brɛ gine fire de efa ka ho no kwasem pa trudu pa ne se wo ba ha wo anya yonko bi obɛ support nkakrakra wo anya busuani bi obe support kakra na se efie nya efie fo betimi discard abrewa saa 24 hours no ana se wunya adwuma nya ne de eno na eba saa nipa no hwa no hwe no hwe a na wakɔ akɔdi aduro nanso aduro die no nso no se de bedi nkan kan dada no ne consequences che se wuntumi ma wokuro mu bi mkɔpem se bedi wasɛm awie obi bɛka so mama me kuro mu bi mkura asɛm de memfa ho me wa but yedi wasɛm nso wie na se wudi fo na oba because ise aba na ka se mo se amanfo bibrebe na asylum no oma besiki asylum sisi no oma doso arise more than 50% over the period enti abana ya na dwen se oma besiki asylum no omo be speedy omo cases no genuinely se won qualify a obemo aba and me hwese de Trump start na oye sa ne ya American so ne Canada de in some provinces kra no de ko America no obenante some manante some few minutes just say obi gina border no so otuni na ba akosi a o America otuni na ba akosi a o Canada just say Canada no so it depending on province a o no but in some provinces no omoni America eben pa nti say wo hwe de ekoso e wo America na wo ha na nso de wo de tu hufo the last time na obi ebisa me say opeso ye visit visa e de ba Canada oba obaba be di adru e na me ka che ne say menka se wonyai visit visa no nemom se oba o ma study said the system ni sitie ansana so obedi aduru no why dey wodi aduru no so wohwe na system no nyema na obekọ baka na wakọ ewuma na obeba visitor na wahe anya sa na odi ne ti baje na obedi aduru bi a watonton wo niema waton wo cars waton wo fie wo sika eda bank nya wakle ni nyina de akoma agent de ono ade awie the agent no so bo no aka kire obeduru ya 2 weeks pepepe obepe work permit de ama enya no kre ono no permit na ode ma na visit visa ena ode ama visit visa no agent no onya do obeduru ha wawie wonu ni bibia bi ono wawie bibia no a ofre no kra wonfa obeka se masa ma oni nya dene enya wonkwa na ode waba no kre no obeka sa no kre no de akire se masa wanya bedu mu no de ma oni nya dene nti be ka che nipa no se onya abotre se obeje visit visa no na se obeba be study system no before se obeba better than say obeba na obeba di aduru na monamunu mu ha abedi aduru no so because minimum bi a ono so obaba di aduru no bi be se 1 year ni onya adwuma nye yama na we permit pa 1 year onya adwuma nye enti se waba betena obi mamu na se 1 year onya adwuma nye ya obi beka se okay ene onya adwuma nye no what wo ye dey kan hu se oba no na adwuma no wo ye no e bia wa resign ni fie kura bia woton ene ode bae na japade bia wo e bia woton ene ode bae ene obae won san nya adwuma nye ebi ko obi na edondom ne nkakrakra na bidie mu kete obi na ebobo ne nkakrakra nti bisa sa nipa ne se so wakase wasan so ba obedi aduru ne passport animanimu ye yi no obedi aduru yes obetimi akọ akaka che me se me ya na me ka se ma ba bedi aduru afi masem ne me mpese ebedi biem muntwam ombetwa o case me ne de passport ama ho ne de ne che se itwa mu anso amunmu no ano se wo se wo ye de oba batu
yeah
ne nipa no oba plane ticket sika ben no de kwa kwatwa plane ticket no that is the issue to me ma what I say the issues currently pa no say the kanena amanfo tukwan a na enema fama omo ntentem ene ade no ente saa because see no omo bia nkofo especially ene wo Africa omo Asia titiw onso omo so ne doso
yeah
omo ba pa India fo ni say said the omo si etukwan eba Canada aha no enafom and omo nso ehwo ye hia che say like yani a free Africa ban kwa ye ho nye abrofo na hi say omo mu free India ban enye easy because omo nim IT no any technology no omo ye very high in terms of technology it is omo be wura mu a omo timi hack into omo systems no equity messes bebre ewo omo systems nim enti ama omo ho hini bia besa yi nyina ena nipa na buso ha ena abrofo no nso hu ne say ye bae na ya bebusu nti no omo no adwuma no munya binye na no kwasem ne say abrofo no nyese bi adwuma no munya binye o se ebia me ye immigrant na maba na se adwuma na me ye no ebia mame obi wa ha na adwuma wo ye ne bi ye obeje ebia $16 per hour 16 Canadian dollars per hour sa 16 Canadian dollars per hour no uyi abrofo 10 ejina wo so omo ma me ye se adwuma e be ma ne 16 Canadian dollars per hour emu be 2 pe ene be ye omo maka no monye empo emutu no mbe ye no eye omo a obi o maye omo life junkie life ono wo pe bi akọ ede akọ no num na duro bi ni ade na ho nkro no ma but se pa se broni pa no so obeba be ye adwuma be gi $16 per hour no onye nti ono so beka so wonya adwuma nya because adwuma efo ne pa ade efo omo pa ade efo ni nti no ena immigrants no mafa because immigrants so de se o ka so obema ne $10 per hour kra hwe imagine so obi aba wonya adwuma nya efo ho yie do obi aba adwuma no say e be ma $10 per hour emirika bi obaji a obekwa akoye no
yeah no correct
obekwa akoye nti abrofo no so hu ne say because immigrants na begua bebrebe na ayi na ma cheap labor ni nti no omo no kwa omo nya adwuma ni bi nya so okwa wonya bi nya o nka ne omo be consider omo kurumfo ne first but ne kurum ni no nya sa adwuma na wokoye akoje sa $10 per hour se cleaning no enya so onye obeye abrofo no bebrebe omo ye cleaning what I say but bebrebe wo na cleaning no obotwe nyame ni pa be man bi a less than $20 per hour onye nti obeka cho say adwuma no bi ni ho no kre no
okay Ogee, away from the arena of students where we've talked about what some students are going through here and there after school, that's life after school. Most people are on the field already. Okay, you know, what your little interactions with people generally. So, mukra say in the student, Yeah, now I'm bonnet is saying already. You've made it clear, saying perception out there no different from what is inside, and that will be at nema bear 1 year. That's also no sound common. You did in the confine of Canada. So when you do 1 year, you're sure say be creative for granted because Oko cannot miss feeling.
Fearful no nyini.
Yes. And see, apart from you move to school, they have their challenges. It be a giant because there were some information said somebody paid close to 16,000 Canadian dollars. And after that, he felt like, untimi nkɔ school ni bi. Nti, ne sika wutua nyinaa yɛ kwa. And there are multiple stories which talks about same thing. School, nechine, sanity. Obi abemu anko school, generally, because for me here in the UK, and you mess, and I spoke to a friend and he told me, you know what, yitinenye, ya mebruchri time and not ya bruchri. And clearly, there is some sense in what he's saying because Jumasem and you may be, it's, how is it in Canada?
Okay, nti after school, me bano ye mame 2 years work permit, 2 years study permit. Nti sa 2 years study permit no, the program no so ameye no 2 years. But say amount 2 years study permit now program you 2 years it is up to you. Ubetimi aka program na boso. Na wa ye nti obi ha otumi de bia be 1 year 3 months ewie courses no. Nti say utumi wie 1 year 3 months ayi na wie a immigration dey on fa ho. Se wo mu wo momra bia so a wo apply for postgraduate permit na or the bema sa 3 years no or the bema. Now so wo ba na se wo anko school no a na wo 2 years no a de ma no expire say wum. It means that untumi apply for postgraduate work permit because you have graduated from here document from school na oba mu no. Nti wo say nipa no so work study permit no a sa ma kwa ma de adwuma 24 hours na expire immediately wo say o permit no kra be so a be a wo ye adwuma no e be ka be say month amana so a o mbe send o message on so o ma document obia o time a obi bia be so onim bibia nti adwuma no mbe send o message say o permit no be so e bia date say nti so say date say ya they will need a renewal of o permit and as o hia a renewed document a che so betima to aso atena Canada mu ha bi. In which case ni say we anya be bia we adwuma no automatically ye be yiwadi because omo broni no say bi onso so saa ne ma no so say we adwuma na woni nkrata na debi kane na say de na me ka say kane no na omunya nkofo mo munya adwuma no nti ya na enema ne bebre wo ha omo bu o mane ye de e de guso nti bi wo kra ya say omo adwuma bi ye tabletop nti okoye tabletop adwuma ni aye metima ka che be bia me no we Newfoundland and Labrador St John's precisely be bae no mi hunu se adwuma bi e wo ho mutua tabletop da tabletop no kire se okoye a emfa wo tax system ni ba be fa nchen e bia wi ya na akan sika na de e de egu nsem kanen pa no na sa adwuma no e bebre na bi wo ho because no munya nkofo mo munye nti school for na omode omo ye sa adwuma na nti bia wo ye 20 hours a wo ye no 20 hours ni wi no akoye tabletop ni bia de e de asoso enzo ene ni tabletop no kra no unya binye because ebi mu kra ba okuta full work permit onya adwuma nye nti wo okuta study permit aye 24 hours no unya binye but se nyame ye wadom na wo ko school ni wi na oje postgraduate permit na one baby a wo ye adwuma no e bia se wo ye adwuma wo care company ana wo ye adwuma wo cleaning woni agency bi na ye adwuma na se wo feel se obeto aso so obe ye adwuma wo ha eno de obema agency na hu se wo wie school no nti you are available for how many number of hours because unye under 24 hours ni bio agency ni betima more than sa hours na open but yana bebre na bia obi wo ha obeye IT program na so obi be accounting program because minimum for bebre Ghana for bebre mo be accounting postgraduate diploma in accounting mo be masters in accounting and sa na minimum Ghana for bebre aha ebi mu yɛ adwuma wɔ TD Bank, ebi yɛ adwuma wɔ Scotia Bank, ebi mu yɛ adwuma wɔ Royal Bank of Canada as bankers a wɔn yɛ adwuma wɔ kama. Nti amanfo bebree, Ghana fo bebree, obi wɔ ha no a chartered accountant kura ansa na ɔba. Guy bi say ɔne care company bi na ɛyɛ adwuma. Ɔno na ɛyɛ ɔyɛ accountant ɛwɔ hɔ. Nti sɛ saa nipa na ɔno yɛ accountant why kura no yɛ student no. So we school a no de ne postgraduate permit no kɔ kyerɛ sɛ we school na automatically ɔbɛtoa so ayɛ adwuma no wɔ hɔ. Ɔmo yɛ education. We are go through the certification processes involved in getting certificate. After so we school need the we masters in there. Then so Canada na answer na obetira there provinces no enyina mu no. Just a ukuta province krono a teaching certificate, a license e ma okwan so betima ye de akira de nso no so the processes are go through no why. Nti so many of your colleagues are better o ma we school no. Life in Canada is meka se ono de se wonya wie school na obra no enye den ma wo se de na wo school no because nyame aye wadom wo wie school while kra bia wo ko school no utimi de wo ho kani be kan ho wo yire ana wo kunu be kan ho e ma ne be boa wo eti wo wie na wo apply for postgraduate permit na ombe wini wo wife no so de no enso ama no ne work permit na ma because wife work permit ndi bia tied to wo study permit na say wo permit
we dependent
e de ama no to mo wini wo de ma wo na de aka ne se afi na wutim now after ugusu no na ope kwan a obe transit from being a temporary resident to a permanent resident meaning say betima akoho no so dia
of course
yeah enti temporary resident ne kire say o man mu temporary ebia oba school ebia ukunu ene ba school ene nam so ntino e ma o no obenya work permit na o de adwuma o ye temporary resident o de visit kra na ba ha o ye temporary resident. Now, temporary resident ne say oba ha no o permit na ye de ma wo no se fa bra krumi ha no temporal se oba se school ni se oba se dwumani obetima ba as a temporary resident oba se o ye visitor obetima o ha as a temporary resident. Now after school no na what started processes are obetumi e de siki o permanent residence wa ha nti amanfo bebre no omoba while cry wo school mu no obitimi nya the permanent resident before cry say obi wie school e kwan ni se bia meyere ana se obi kunu e na waba e na ono ya ma no work permit na we adwuma na omo wo nyuma hodo bebrebe a ewo in high demand by the Canadian government to say bia health education for example omo early childhood education no nti bia wo yesa anwuma ni nyina bia ada obi a skill job no carpenter mason ne saa anwuma no so wa woni tuasa abrochi de skill job mo mfani agro mechanic ne saa yi no nti na onipa na apply provinces ni bi o mo free bi provincial nomination nti province ne be nominate you to apply say province we me pese say nyame ya adom a me stay province we same na me boa na ye chekere province no enye provinces ni nyina na wo bi provinces ni bi wo bi ebi nso ni bi nti ebia wo yere ebetima start sa processes no e de amount wo yere start processes no se province no e go through the nkata no so okay adwuma na wo ye no province ni hia omo betima be stay wa ha permanently no ma be ye adwuma ne de amaye because ye nyankofo mo be ye se adwuma na de amaye nti as soon as a province ne be ye satisfied no obe ma certificate and no mo fe no provincial nomination certificate it is a certificate no and I be apply for the federal permanent resident into they apply a demo a mfie do bi ebedi bia no say na wanya apply na edem but Canada has say so the application too say why application na omo acknowledge receipt say ensaka application no na say o permit krampo awu a emrana ma okwan ma we stay until a determination on your permit application because omo say application na edem no they are now going to determine to omo ma wo ma ukrum na ye determine you awasan so ba o ha ye determine you na say ye dina wa then ye be ma waba by ye dina on ye de amanwa na che say why den na westi intini nyina mu no wo mu no na che say one obusua say wo yere ne o ma be kan ho a na mo nso mo totomoni na mahwe hu say ye we kakra ye we kakra ka say bia say nipa no wo akontu mu na say bia ɔmfa sika kɛseɛ biara ma afie na abusua adwene ɔmo sɛ na wobaeɛ ɛna like yɛpɛ sika yɛ adwuma ne ade ɛnyɛ saa nipa na ɛnyɛ nipa no mfomsoɔ sɛ abusua menyɛ sure sɛ amanfo bebree bɛtu kwan na ebia abusua ho kyerɛ wɔn obiara yɛ aware abusua obiara firi mu but nipa no nso ɛhwɛ ne stance yie ne daakye ɛwɔ ɔman no mu yie sɛ ne nkrataa no expire a aha nso nkrataa bi a wɔbɛyɛ biara no nso ɛyɛ sika nti sɛ ne nkrataa no expire a ɛkwan bɛn na ɔbɛfa so ɔbɛtena ha sɛ yɛde US for example a obi wɔn nso ɔma try so many times but nkɔfoɔ agye ne sika kora mpo ayɛ dɛ ɛdi ama wɔntumi anya nti while a wɔwie school no na kyerɛ sɛ wɔkaaka w'ani wɔpɛ kwan a wɔbɛfa so a wobɛnya o permanent resident because saa 3 years no so a na kyerɛ sɛ o time ɛde ma wɔn ayɛ dɛ aso gye sɛ o saa pɛ kwan bi so na wopɛ extension no nso yɛ pending a determination by the immigration officer say okay yɛde bɛma wɔn anayɛ mfama wɔyɛ mfama wɔ automatically kokrom and say immigration laws no of the various countries said they would in kan say yɛntu kwan a yɛ ɛbrɛ a yɛ bre papa ba yɛ kan saa na na bia amanfo adwene ɔmo sɛ na deɛ na yɛ mpɛ sɛ obi bɛba bi
yes sana obi
bɛba no ɛnte saa koraa sɛbi abrochi nya obi adia ɛbɛyɛ anka obi a mfa n'animra mehunu the kind of systems a ɛwɔ in place ɛwɔ abrochi and how a yɛbɛtumi akɔ back na yɛde saa systems na akɔyɛ adwuma ɛwɔ yɛman mu nti ke benya anka obi akora ma yɛde emehwɛ bi but the advice no akɔyɛ sɛ the immigration laws rules and regulations governing the immigration of the various countries no yɛn nyinaa yɛpɛ sɛ yɛtu kwan ba mu no nneɛma bebree sesa nti sɛ woanhwɛ yi a na ho nkɔ akɔkyerɛw afei bi mo nso contract agent medinkan ɛkan wɔ hɔ agent no bebree wɔ hɔ a ɔyɛ application no krampo de ama wa ebia ɔbɛyɛ application we finally and eventually ne yɛ now yɛdi now wie no also was abɛyɛ reapplication o ho kwan sɛ yɛdi now a na sɛ yɛambane wa yɛbɛtuma bane on sɛ wayɛ misrepresentation ebia ma false document false information bi ɔmo verify ɔmo say no this information adema the Canadian immigration false ɛbasa Canada ɔmo bɛ bane for 5 years saa 5 years no o apply a enye yi until say 5 years ne beso se so na o apply kra na o ye nyamba na wo kra no na de tuma se na na ye de ma wo enti agent ni bi wo ha o hyehye ne ma na ma wa o date of birth ne saa all the documents ni na e wo se sisi so pepepepepepepe ba obi wo ha adwuma no ye ne wadre ka unu say agents no dodo na o wi a email credentials kwa de be log in to the portal don fama
yeah
so de ma wo a wo benya opportunity to see what is going on in the portal. Inti ono na onim de yakoso portal nti se bi yese koye biometric na ono ado letter asende o se ko ne koye biometric no ye ka se koye medicals na o de amount ya approve o visa na o de amount so visa na ya de ya approve and that is how our agents no do no ano omo ne amanfo ye de edili nti me de tika futu amede bema ye nuanom bebre ni se applying to come to Europe, to Canada, to US, or to any other country. Enya ade a ye den bia provided say obetimi akan na obetimi atwere nko ade a because yes or no bebre na dodo na Canada kra de dodo na ye you will have to generate a form o generate form na wa fail wo din de say o ma me din de say o papa din de say unuanom dodo se na wo to be Canada wo ya wo be enta unuanom nyina din omo date of birth omo marital status en na de ade nyina Canada wo be enta ni nyina o papa din o maame din adwuma omo ye unuanom din adwuma omo ye ni nyina wo be enta sa na information ni nyina the reason is say e bia daachi bi wo benya wo pese wo invite wo papa ana wo maame na wo ba besra wo na no okofa nipa foforo bi de ne kohyema it means that misrepresentation one ma force because o system na capture that say o ma me din de ebia Augustina ade na se wasa ko boni nipa foforo se won na ye o ma me ana bia me kunu din ye sei na e kire wako boni nipa foforo din se won na ye o kunu system ne be reject e be expose you say you have provided false information te ba sa na wonya be wura o man mu kura mpo na because of that false information now you can provide in the previously no you be cancel or permit now with it on ya catch you say go back to your home. Nti sana etie ewo abuja almost their systems really work. Nti sometimes me dream say okay, why is it that most of these politicians are or more they have come and experienced science systems in bi. And among systems no so adwuma kama pa. Adent no muntimi implement those systems no. But another school of thought and so say okay, omoba no person obeye aniyama no yi a yemso yempene. So for example, say obi wo Ghana, you say passport. So what's open police report, for example, my friend example, open police report or you just go online. Now I call police for no a website. Now I apply all the necessary information in documents here now. You have them. No upload it. No what you are $20. Ewa 20 Canadian dollars. What you are $20 now. A process within 15 working days. And within that 15 working days, no one are post near the abroad. On kobe be ebe posti the abroad by post. Not just when your police report. But Ghana no, you better put this system be in place. But still, obi penny the any chance 15 working days. It just was I could sika de coma police officer. And I could sika de coma will be for. And sana eduma. It is our be now on will be sika de man or no one fan says eduma no say eduma. It is a what ban also the system be bar on pre. And cadenti de computer school placement better. Na computer school placement in the way say computer name placement. Ye do be back or to ebia category A, ye do be called category B. Was a media school na de me ba no ko any category C me pe category A. No afa kwan bi so no akoko tua be 10,000 Ghana cedis. See amanfo tua even more than 10,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah, some paid as high as 50,000.
Yes. Category A school nti no akoko tua say sika na dia ma no. Enti sometimes in as much as empenifo no be person systems ne be ye adwuma no. Omo bata mpenimfo no ho no. That's why any aid, where any personal assistant, where any other guru boys, any other no, they also don't want to allow the system to work because, but now comes back to say obi so my system in your crack the whip. Obi or say or bata why mata because I have no go to your bribe ma obia, go to your sika be fine chain and fama obia. The last time a colleague called me, now application, visa, no was agent and a friend. Say, oh, she said they're doing their car crabina my granting application, man. Inti ompe say 10,000 be no more franco humpen for na omonye into be some say send the city. And I'm say Canada application require interview. Canada visa no unko interview bia it will be BI documents say officer ni here be or be send the email e about portal na to that no why would the email no correspondence now the idea what they call it is because we ko hu obi akwaje you can say officer the amawa enya no kre agent ne pe kwan bi so agi usika di you don't go and pay any money to anybody. What is the better answer? Because you apply for a study permit here no 235 Canadian dollars. 235 Canadian dollars what the bag Ghana sika mu a me mfa ne say what the mfa ne say 2,500 2,600 Ghana cedis. And I apply for study permit too. And one Canada ban Ogee and one but obi betima ma obi 100,000 Ghana cedis say or yes study permit obi mfa application mfa. Meanwhile enka wo de 100,000 Ghana cedis no kra obetimi di emu be say 80,000 Ghana cedis etua office ni mu bi. Na wa ye wade anase wasiki obi guidance na wo de aye wade. So what is the matter say? But oko contract obi say obi nyama wa. Na nipa na application ni di ama wa. Automatically nipa no so hu ni say wo say ne mre e na wo de aye ade ne di ama wo. Nti ono so be charge wo. Nti minim di enti obi ho a wo ka chene so chale ade no you can apply it. There are so many people who have reached out to me. So chale na process no etesen me pese me ba Canada anase me pese me tu kwan na process no tesem so process no nya di. Na mama omo schools ni bi. Schools na wo de be no na maka cho say hwe adwuma wo ye o course a wo ye as first degree na a continuation of that course as masters anya sa so course no match a currently no nipa no adults nti wo so pe nipa kakra bi nti ye hwe na wo no o course ne match na wo CV ne o other documents bi match and communicate ya ombedi now nti pe o documents ni nyina yi na ye o ka kire wo mo a wo say me de nka obenya obi ama na ya ama me a Ga media me sa na ma we dia me no menya de computer sa me de menya de obi enu e de computer e wo no enti just go o log in so because me what Ghana say na GS started so mo copy paperless in some part near the adon
Yeah.
teacher for na bi kran e no mo ko mo ha adwen do e na de enyin na dwen e na afra mbe ayi sem yen so na yesa complaining say paper some na do so GS mu
Of
do
course.
yen fan yen ko digital yen ko paperless kakra e ne ade enti yen no before no tito Ghana for na me de minimu say o kire ne say ade wo betumi aya on in the first place na wa doubt ne honda da say ontumi nye. Now some other people also share with me say obi ho no so a waka che ne say okay oh yeah oh guide no amanaye any ade no now wasan so the cost burden no say beto so say na hacha but ontuama no
Oh, every three untiama no.
ontuama no focus ontuama no so anadwen say wuti more but enye se bia nipa na niti more nipa na wa ha no so no there are a lot of things that the person is going through.
Of
There are a lot
course.
of problems that Nippon encounter, but they cannot share it with you. Imagine somebody in Canada, in Europe, in America, sharing their problems with somebody in Ghana. Say, me pem wafri ubi or Ghana. What do you mean? Say,
It's
Okrana,
much.
serious. What's it?
Yeah.
And mama yensuya how to navigate some of these things. Sometimes what one person to call Europe, who person to call UK, who person to call Canada or USA. Go to their portals. Unimua, ask from somebody. Any all the necessary information. Na odiaye.
It's been amazing conversations with Ogee, and these are matters that are in relation with life in Canada, students in Canada, and then everything that you need to know. Maybe you're making a decision to move to Canada. He has shared it all. Meaning baby, I will share it free. Certainly. Senya wuna uhia, unia bibibia. Now it's about time we really represent what the story is by telling you what the story is. Gone are the days where some of these things were seen as sacred, in quotations. People don't talk about it because that is where people make money. See,
Yeah.
but these days, through the help of technology, things are not they are not like how they used to be some time ago. So, Oji, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for your time.
Now, me who say no. Sometimes yeah na amanfo bebre omoba bedru. It also depends on the kind of people that you associate yourself with. Abrochira yeti nyina no. The most important thing for obi bia wote abrochiri information. Enye sika. Ene enye se nipa ne bema wo aduane ana obema watade ana mpaboa. Nemum the necessary information that you need. Because say obe apply for ABR any other permit and any other EBR say permanent resident, so obe apply for provincial nomination, so obe apply for any form and adwuma kra na abeto kra na information and obi de bema wo nti se nipa no wan share information na any NHS waso NAIS because you will be in the dark, you will not know anything, you will have no idea about what is going on.
Before I take leave of you, I need to appreciate you again. It's been amazing conversation, and you've truly represented who you are. In fact, the first conversation I had with you, you made it a point who you are, what you stand for, and the kind of career you've chosen to pursue. So, whoever takes time to pay attention to whatever information you've got to share, end up consuming something essential. Now, your final words before I take leave of you.
Okay, into the final words, I'm making an say some of these conversations are na ye can and I say ye engage in them no. Na and yes be ye for show off. And I
Okay.
say ye at the to your home. Ne mum ni nyina ya adesua ye nyina mu no abrabɔ mu no sɛ watu kwan aba abrochiri sɛ wo oman mu ni nyina ne sɛ obema wani ada hɔ na nso tie futuo bi zo ayɛ de afiri mu na de bɛboa wo no na wafa isan say ebia de beboa me de be ya adwuma ma me wo me mabrabo mu no ebia na wo de be apply e wo wabrabo mu a emwa ana se enye adwuma e wo wabrabo mu nti obia ne sede osi ehu na brabo defa but generally uhwe mu hu say okay enkomo ya enuanom ya die mehwe mu keka ne ma bom no me hu say efa we ye beboa me mefa efa we me mu amefa titiro ne ba bia say wo betu kwan akwa abrochira what ma ko school awie why ko university wa ko senior high school wa wie ko online internet say wutimi ko Facebook ekwo twetwe de ope bia wo ho wutimi ko TikTok ekwo twetwe de ope bia wutimi ko YouTube ko navigate a the same process na sometimes some of these things kra no say wo ko online platforms no so a te say be a YouTuber now we say how to apply to go to Canada and how to apply to go to UK and how to apply to go to the USA. Amanfo bebre aye videos bebre ewo ho kire sa processes ni nyina enye den kra nti kasa sika na wode bema agent say agent nye na onfanye ma wo no sa sika no ka wa wotena ase na wode ye ya ke no kra betumi aboa ma watua office ni bi kra wo Ghana ana ba bia wo ansa kra na waba ba yede abedu ha eno no timi boa wo ema pressure na eda wo so no etimi kofom ma wunya asumdue kakra etimi ekopem bra ubetumi aye nti de meka ne say ya dati for so asese de bia no they take their time to listen, they watch, they comment because it is not say after the interview we just leave it like that. We also follow the comment section and we also engage the audience so as to share continuous opinions. Enti ya da obi ase e bompa say nyame bema bibia ye di ama nyina odwuma bia wo ye bia no oni na ho na yire ho na ye. Don't lose focus. Be financially disciplined because ye kan nyina no so obekọ so obeba nyina no sikasem financially you should be disciplined. Obrai mu no nyina ye ma ye ni na ho na ye mo obra no in such a way say ebeboa yen na ebema yakọ yanim na ne ma nyina enso etimi asi e de amaye onyame nkan nyina ye ho.
Thank you, viewers. If you've stayed with us up to this point, kindly subscribe, comment, share, like it. In fact, do everything possible within your strength to help the growth of this channel. Ogee, once again, I cannot thank you enough. You've been amazing. That's the mark of a true brother. I'm going to pull you here, certainly not within this week, but hopefully in the coming weeks. Nneɛma bi wɔ hɔ a wɔsi yɛdi ho nkɔmmɔ ebi ne deɛ wɔkan na maybe somebody is also watching us. You've also got some sort of conversations to have. We are open. Any Ogee nko a, you can get in touch with Ogee or get in touch with me, and then we'll bring you on board. And we know, say, together we can make this world a better place for everyone. So those people in Canada, you can find Ogee. Ogee is on social media. So in Oscar Ogee, yes, especially on Facebook. Very active guy on Facebook. You can get interactive and probably get to know yourself better. We are here in the UK and we are open. Get in touch. Let's get interactive. Let's have a conversation. And I know together we can cause some changes positively. Ogee, thanks for coming. Until I see you again. Peace out.